What's going on, guys? In today's video, I'm going to be covering the newly released Ronin S2 and more specifically the Ronin S2 Pro package. We're going to be doing an unboxing of this gimbal, checking out some test footage that I shot using this gimbal, as well as giving you first impressions of using the Ronin S2 Pro package combo. Now guys, real quick before we get into the unboxing of the gimbal, let's talk about how much the Pro combo cost and the standard version cost. So the DJI Ronin S2 Pro combo package is going to cost you $999 US, while the standard version is going to cost you $849. So guys, the difference between the Pro package and the standard package is going to be that the Pro package offers you the Raven image transmission, the focus motor, as well as other miscellaneous smaller items such as mini HDMI cables, a couple of extra screws, and a couple of other items as well. So the main differences between the Pro combo and the standard combo is that the Pro package is going to give you the Raven image transmission as well as the focus motor, and the standard version will not have that included in the package. So keep that in mind when you're going to look to buy the Ronin S2 between the Pro and the standard package. So with that being said, guys, let's go ahead and get into the unboxing of the Ronin S2. Now real quick, let's take a look at what the actual box, what it comes in looks like before we open it up. I don't know if you all can see that. So let's go ahead and open this up. So guys, right off the bat, let's talk about this carrying case. This carrying case actually is very lightweight, as well as it feels sturdy, and it feels like it's actually holding everything in place that's within this actual carrying case. Now I do want to point out that I did never use the Ronin S or the Ronin SC, but I did use the Featech AK2000, and the carrying case that the Featech AK2000 came in is actually basically the same case that the original Ronin S and Ronin SC came in. And it did not look like it was catered to people that were traveling and people that wanted to be mobile. So this already is a huge improvement and a huge plus. This already looks and feels like it's catered more to people that want to be traveling with this gimbal and don't want a bulky, clunky, heavy version of what the older versions used to be. So this is already an improvement. Just the carrying case alone from the original Ronin S and Ronin SC. So let's go ahead and open up everything inside. Real quick disclaimer, I did already use this gimbal and test the footage out. So some of the stuff that's in this actual carrying case may be out of place or opened up already. So just a little quick disclaimer, this is not the first time unboxing this. So let's go ahead and check it out though for you all. Let's go ahead and open up the bottom. And right off the bat, you're gonna be able to see on the left-hand side, we're gonna have zippers that are holding your cables. It's gonna hold all the cables that you need to use depending on what kind of camera you're using, as well as more cables. I think this is gonna be the charging. Yep, that's the charging cable that's gonna be powering up your Ronin gimbal. Yeah, so these are gonna be all the cables that you'll need for operating your camera, whichever camera you're using, as well as your charging port. So I'm gonna leave that right here. Let's take that off. And we have the actual gimbal itself, as well as, like I said, I already have used this and tested this out already. So this is the actual focus motor that we set up with the rod that goes into the focus motor to be able to go onto the gimbal. I don't know what kind of material this is, but it's really lightweight, but it also is good for obviously protecting your gimbal and any other material you have. So it's not just, when it's moving around, it's not just moving around in the box and getting damaged. So that's a plus. Let's go ahead and open up the other section. I'm gonna go ahead and put this stuff back in real quick. And let's open the next part of it. And as you can see, throw this to the side. Have our manuals. Let's see what this is. We have the manual for the Raven image transmission, as well as quick setup guide for getting your Ronin S2 set up. Let's pull out the actual motor itself. And this is going to be for briefcase mode if you want to operate the Ronin S2 at a low angle. Briefcase mode obviously is you put this there and then you're able to operate the Ronin S2 from a low angle. That's why they call it the briefcase mode. So you just hold it at a low angle and you can be able to film the gimbal holding it at a low angle. Let's go ahead and move this over. You have your stand for the RS2. And now you have the battery. The most important thing out of the Ronin S2 is going to be the Raven eye transmission, And then we have, because this is the Pro package, we have, if we wanted to set our phone on the gimbal as well, we have our phone holder as well, and that actually is a plus with the Pro package. This doesn't come with the standard, so the main things that come with the Pro, again, is the phone holder, the Raven transmission, and the focus motor. So let's go ahead and put this to the side, and let's set the Ronin S2 up real quick. And the Ronin S2 featured actually has a lock and unlock mechanism. So right now it's in the unlock mode to be able to put the battery into the motor itself. So let's go ahead and turn this to the lock mechanism. So now this is actually set up. Let's cover what else is in this in these actual two compartments right here. Focus motor. You have your Manfrotto stand to be able to go on the top of the actual gimbal and your camera. Have all of the plates, the Allen wrench, and a extra piece, as well as, let's open up in here. And again, another piece for your focus motor. I'm gonna put all this to the side. Screws and bolts. So guys, now that I've shown you everything that actually comes inside of the box for the Ronin S2 Pro combo package, let's go ahead and get to the more important thing of showing you all the test footage from this actual gimbal. For this video, I'm going to be using the 1DX Mark III with the 18 to 35 millimeter lens. So let's go ahead and check out some of that footage right now. So now that we've seen some test footage from the Ronin S2, let's go over my initial first impressions with this gimbal and if I think it's a worthwhile investment for not only a first-time user, but for somebody that has the Ronin S or Ronin SC and is looking to upgrade their gimbal to the Ronin S2 Pro combo package or the standard package. Now guys, after testing out the Ronin S2 with the 1DX Mark III and the 18 to 35 millimeter, right off the bat, I want to say it's super lightweight. It felt super lightweight operating this gimbal with that actual payload. The 1DX Mark III and the 18 to 35 millimeter feels heavy to most people in general. So even with this on top of this gimbal, the whole payload as a whole felt very lightweight. I know a lot of people who own the Ronin S actually did say and complained about how heavy it felt. Just the gimbal alone before they even added a camera on top of that. Now guys, the reason why this gimbal felt lightweight is because this actual Ronin S2 gimbal weighs in at 2.3 pounds, being able to handle a payload all the way up to 10 pounds. Now that's actually pretty amazing if you think about how a 2.3 pound gimbal can handle basically over 4 times its actual payload. So again, this is actually why the 1DX Mark III and the 18 to 35 millimeter paired with this gimbal didn't feel as heavy, probably as opposed to using the original Ronin S, which I believe the original Ronin S weighed in at over 4 pounds. So the Ronin S2 weighed in at half of what the original Ronin S weighed in. So right there off the bat, that's a huge plus in my book of the Ronin S2 weighing in half of its original Ronin S, weighing in at 2.3 pounds and being able to handle a payload of up to 10 pounds due to the carbon fiber build that is now on the Ronin S2. Now, another major important thing when I was setting up and using this gimbal for the first time was I noticed that it had the access lock. And what that is it has the lock mechanism for the tilt, the roll, and the pan. So basically what it is this actual Ronin S2 gimbal setup. When you have your camera attached to it, you can lock all of the tilt, roll, and pan, as opposed to the original Ronin S didn't have that feature. So basically the problem that a lot of people encountered is if you wanted to keep your camera on that gimbal and you wanted to travel or be mobile, what would happen is because it wasn't in a locked situation, the camera would move all around and sometimes would even have the situation of banging into the back of the actual gimbal and possibly damaging your camera. So that is a major improvement and a major plus with the Ronin S2. It does have the access lock mechanism for your tilt, your roll, and your pan. So once you set up your gimbal with your camera and balance it, You can put everything in lock when you're not using it and set it down and then move it around without worrying about it getting damaged on the back of the gimbal, or even just moving around and messing up the balance of your actual camera that you set up on the gimbal. Now guys, the next thing that was very helpful while I was out testing the Ronin S2 was the LCD screen, touchscreen that is placed on the back of the actual gimbal. Now this is convenient because, say for instance, you're only out filming by yourself. It's very hard to be on the fly moving around and try to change your settings via the mobile app if you're holding the gimbal in your hand. So this new addition to the Ronin S2 that the Ronin S didn't have is a great improvement, because now you can change your settings and change anything related to the gimbal on the back of the gimbal with the touchscreen while you're moving around and doing stuff on the fly, as opposed to the original Ronin S or any kind of gimbal that didn't have the touchscreen, where you would probably have to set the gimbal down and fix the settings via your mobile phone through the app. So that is a major improvement with the Ronin S2, and that is something that was super helpful while I was out filming and getting test footage. So guys, with that being said, those of you who are thinking about purchasing this type of gimbal, or who have already purchased this type of gimbal, have already probably thought that you're going to be doing a lot of one-man run and gun situations, where it'll either be you by yourself, or you may have possibly one other person helping you and assisting you with your projects. And it seems like DJI took this self-reliability into account with creating the Ronin S2, and they did that by creating the Pro package that has the Raven image transmission, as well as both packages that have the auto tracking capability. Now you can enable the auto tracking on either the back of your LCD touchscreen on the gimbal, or you can enable it on the app on your mobile phone. And what that does is you can basically draw a box around a subject, a person, a place, a thing. And what it will do is it will actively track that movement of either the person or the object or subject that's in motion. And you can actually have that on your mobile app again, or you can do it on the back of your gimbal. Now, both the standard package and the Pro package comes with the auto tracking, but the thing that the Pro package comes with that's a major helpful tool is the Raven image transmission. So guys, what the Raven image transmission does that is super helpful is it allows you to be up to 200 meters or 656 feet away from your gimbal, and you can operate the gimbal via your mobile app with the Raven image transmission. So you can actively track the gimbal and make movements with the gimbal by using the Raven image transmission, and then it connects from the gimbal and the Raven image transmission to your phone. So you're able to be all the way up to 656 feet away from the gimbal, and you can move and operate that gimbal via your phone. So these two features with the auto tracking and the Raven image transmission make the RS2 a gimbal that I would highly recommend, and especially the Pro package, since the Pro package is what comes with the Raven image transmission, as opposed to if you just got the standard that does not come with the Raven image transmission. So guys, the Raven image transmission was actually very super easy to set up. They do give you a manual to show you how to set up your Raven image transmission via the gimbal, and then how to connect it to the phone. But it was super easy. I put the Raven image transmission on the bottom of the RS2, and then from there I connected the transmission to the phone via the mobile app. And then from there I was able to operate the gimbal and make any kind of movements that I wanted the gimbal to make via my phone. Now guys, I can't stress this enough how major of an improvement this is for anybody who's filming themselves alone and wanted to create movements that you would originally need a second person to be there filming on the actual gimbal. You can actually now set up the gimbal and put it in a stationary position, and then from there you're able to create a movement that you would need somebody else to make via your phone, or just actively tracking you. So that right there is a huge plus that would make this gimbal highly worth investing in. So the only hiccup that I did experience when I was out filming with this gimbal for the first time was when Minute went to set up the focus motor and then try to attach this to the gimbal and to the 1DX Mark III with the 18 to 35 millimeter. It wouldn't work because the 18 to 35 millimeter sat too high up on the 1DX Mark III to be able to attach to the focus motor on the gimbal. And that makes a lot of sense, because now when I look at certain review videos or videos that have already come out related to the Ronin S2 that did use a 1DX Mark III or 1DX Mark II, you'll notice that they have a cinema Canon lens, or just a cinema lens in general, that is much wider and bigger than the 18 to 35 millimeter. So that is the only hiccup that we did come into when we were testing out the Ronin S2. So we weren't able to fully use the focus motor because we only had the 18 to 35 millimeter at the time. So just keep that in mind. Anybody who does have a 1DX Mark III or a 1DX Mark II, I know a lot of us like to use the 18-35 Sigma millimeter lens. Just keep that in mind. If you get this gimbal and you want to use the focus motor, you're going to have to get a different lens than the 18-35 millimeter, especially if you're using it on a 1DX Mark II or 1DX Mark III. So with all that being said, I can't wait to test out and get more footage using the Ronin S2 and utilizing the features and the third-party accessories that are coming out for this gimbal. And personally, guys, that's another major plus for me, is that the company was keeping in mind that there is going to be a lot of third-party companies that are creating third-party accessories for the Ronin S2 to be used on, so they made this very compatible for third-party accessories. So now instead of just using this gimbal as a single handheld gimbal and set up as it is, you'll now be able to take this off and place this onto more cinematic style shots, such as putting this on cars for car shots, aerial shots, putting this on sliders, and a lot more accessories and different types of ways you can get shots besides just being placed on this single handheld gimbal. So guys, coming from a first-time user of the Ronin S line, I never used the Ronin S or the Ronin SC. I would highly recommend the Ronin S2 to anybody who's either a first-time gimbal user of this kind or anybody who has the original Ronin S or Ronin SC and is thinking about upgrading to the Ronin S2. Also, given the option, I would invest in the Pro package. For $150 more, you get the Raven image transmission as well as the focus motor and a couple more cords and screws and etc. like that, but the two main features being the Raven image transmission and the focus motor. For $150 more, that's something that I would highly recommend and highly invest in. It's only $150 more for those two key features that are going to be super helpful on set, especially if you plan on shooting a lot of content by yourself. So guys, let me know down in the comments, what are some of the features you're looking forward to testing out on the Ronin S2, as well as what are some of the third-party accessories you're looking into buying once these accessories come out catered to the Ronin S2. Let me know down below. So guys, if you like this video and you want to see more content like this, do me a favor and be sure to like, comment, and share this video, as well as subscribe to the YouTube channel if you haven't already, and hit the notification bell to stay up to date with all the content that is releasing to this channel. See you all next time.